But in this moment, when I was sitting there in that chair with the sun on my face, I was actually like, holy shit. Is it actually the opposite? Have I maybe been actually missing out on the good stuff this whole entire time because I was drinking? And I realized that the answer is yes, like 100% yes. Welcome to the Shannon McCabe Show, where we break free from our drink-obsessed culture, challenge the myths around alcohol, and redefine sobriety as the empowering choice it truly is. I'm Shannon McCabe, sober coach, holistic nutritionist, and your guide to a life that feels better without booze. Whether you're newly sober, sober curious, or years into this journey, this podcast is here to give you the truth about alcohol, the tools to build lasting confidence, and the hope that a vibrant, fulfilling life is waiting for you on the other side. So grab your coffee or sparkling water and let's dive in. All right, you guys, welcome back. Today, I want to talk about something that a lot of people get really nervous about early in sobriety. Your first spring and summer without alcohol. I know that when I was first sober, I had this thought of like, how am I going to get through all of the cookouts and all of the weekends at the cabin, the pool parties, all of this stuff that I had always drank so much for. It feels like summer and drinking are completely intertwined. And honestly, I was really worried that without alcohol, I was going to feel left out and bored or like I was missing something. So here's what I want to say up front. Your first sober spring and summer are going to feel different. But, and this is the big but, different does not mean bad, you guys. So yes, this season might feel different, but that does not mean that it can't be amazing. It's all about how you approach it. And today I'm going to help you shift your mindset so that you can learn how to actually look forward to this new season and this new experience rather than be afraid of it. So I want you guys to do me a favor. Take a deep breath and just commit to having an open mind as we have this conversation, okay? I get that it can feel hard. I get that this can be a weird idea. Trust me, you guys, like I said, I am born and raised in Wisconsin. Drinking literally our national pastime. I know that it can feel incredibly hard to think about going into a season like spring and summer and not drinking alcohol. But I promise it can be done. And I promise that it's possible to find that you actually might not just enjoy it, but like it even more, okay? So stay with me as I kind of walk you through this process that I went through, okay? Because I'm going to share some of the biggest mindset shifts that helped me so much during this first sober spring and summer. And then some of the practical ways that you can actually like enjoy this season instead of just trying to get through it. Like, we don't want to just survive your first sober summer. We're going to actually own it. I want you to own it and feel good. So let's dive in, okay? So the first mindset shift is embracing that different does not mean bad. So I remember when I was newly sober and the season started to change. I was about 6 months into my sobriety, okay, you guys? One of my favorite things during my drinking days was enjoying those first like nice days, those first nice afternoons, sitting on my deck with either a glass of white wine or a vodka soda with a lime. Those were like my go-to drinks, okay? And I truly, truly, truly believed that it was like the ultimate sophistication, that this was the best way to say goodbye to our long Wisconsin winters, which I seriously hate so much, and welcome in my favorite seasons, the sunshine, the fresh air, all of it. So even though at this point I had been sober for about 6 months, I was really worried that spring and summer were not going to be as fun or as relaxing without alcohol. So those first few times that I sat on the deck with my face in the sun, I was listening to the birds chirp, like the gentle breeze all around. And I was drinking usually an NA beer, sometimes sparkling water. You guys, I was honestly so surprised at how much I was actually enjoying myself because I was actually just like truly relaxed and like soaking in all of this beautiful stuff around me. I wasn't distracted by thoughts of my next drink or the drinking dialogue that was always in general running through my head of like, am I drinking this too fast? How much can I drink while enjoying this? Because, like, is it early afternoon and I'm home alone with my kids? How much is Matt drinking? Am I drinking too fast? Should I slow down? What am I going to drink next? Like that tirade that goes on when we're consumed with alcohol. When all of that was gone, I was just present. I was actually just fully present and aware for the beautiful weather that I had waited like so long for it to come back. This was the first time that a thought occurred to me that maybe I had actually been missing out on so much because of my drinking. We're told so often, and society does such a good job of painting this picture that to quit drinking means to be missing out, that like we are going to be missing out on everything if we quit drinking. But in this moment, when I was sitting there in that chair with the sun on my face, I was actually like, holy shit. Is it actually the opposite? Have I maybe been actually missing out on the good stuff this whole entire time because I was drinking? And I realized that the answer is yes, like 100% yes. I had fallen, 100% fallen for the story that alcohol made these days and these moments relaxing and more enjoyable and more fun. But really, now that I had the comparison, now that I could compare my drinking spring and summer and sitting on my deck with my sober spring and summer sitting on my deck, I was like, oh my gosh, drinking actually was stealing the true joy and the true beauty, the true relaxation of this from me. I couldn't even be aware of that, let alone tap into it when I was so consumed with what was in my hand or what was coming next. Everything revolved around the drink to one degree or another. And once that was out of the equation, you guys, it literally was like seeing the world through brand new eyes. It was like spring in Technicolor in a way that I never even knew it existed. When it was just me and myself and everything around me without alcohol having anything to do with it. So you guys, I went on to have a lot more of these moments during that first summer, hanging out with family and friends, like making the most of the weather. It really was like living in Technicolor. I could see how like a fog, an actual fog had been lifted. I really felt like I was seeing the world clearly for the first time. I realized that there was so much to experience when I wasn't fuzzy headed, when I wasn't dehydrated, when I wasn't always in some stage of like a dull headache, and when I wasn't so preoccupied with just chasing that buzz endlessly. So if you're feeling anxious about your first spring and summer without drinking, you guys, I get it. I so get it. I remember that. But I also really want to challenge you to just stop assuming that this season is going to be worse just because you're not drinking. Like, what if it's actually maybe better? Okay, the next mindset shift, you guys. I want you to trade your FOMO for JOMO. So let me explain what that means. We know that our FOMO, fear of missing out, right? Everybody knows what that is. This is one of the biggest things that keeps people stuck when they first quit drinking. But I want you guys to flip this around and embrace the idea of the joy of missing out. So this is where instead of focusing on what we think we're going to be missing out on by not drinking, let's focus on what you'll actually be missing out on, which are things like hangovers and anxiety, or those embarrassing moments that you wish you could take back, right? Like we all have something, big or small, that we said or did while drinking that makes us cringe, that we wish we could go back and undo. What about just missing out on the waking up feeling like garbage? What about this, skipping the stress of wondering like, what did I say at the end of the night last night? Like, what did I text? Did I post something on social media? Like, I don't even remember. How often is your drinking lead to those like forgotten last few hours of the nights? That is what we're skipping when we're not drinking. So let's flip this FOMO and instead focus on like, what are you gaining by staying alcohol free? You get to be fully present for the people and the places that you're enjoying, for all of the moments that are happening around you, you get to be 100% in them. You get to wake up clear-headed and refreshed and actually feeling good instead of slushing through like various degrees of a hangover. You get to remember those conversations and the inside jokes and what was funny. So rather than just remembering the laughter, you actually remember what you were laughing about. And you get to feel good in your skin, in your body, instead of feeling bloated and feeling anxious or feeling exhausted and trying to hide the bags under your eyes and trying to hide like the bloodshot eyes. You get to actually just feel good. So FOMO keeps us stuck in this mindset of I can't drink. But we can choose to instead embrace the truth of I get to be sober. I get to be fully present. I get to see if this can all feel even better than I thought it did before. So the next time that you feel that little voice whispering like, oh, I'm missing out, remind yourself, what am I really missing out on? Because I promise you, you guys, you're not missing out on as much as you actually have to gain. So the third mindset shift, this is the reality check, you guys. This is what I call romanticizing versus reality. When we are tempted to romanticize alcohol, I want you to instead focus on the reality of your drinking. So this is a little trick that helped me so much, you guys. And honestly, this has been one of the most powerful and most well-received tools that I work with my clients with, okay? So whenever I caught myself, whenever we catch ourselves romanticizing drinking, whether it's because the people around us are doing it or what we see on social media, what we see on TV, what we see in the movies, I force myself, and I encourage you to force yourself to look at the other side of the coin. So yes, maybe you guys, I did have fun nights with alcohol in the past. I'm not going to deny that. But at the end of my drinking, it wasn't all really that great. Okay, so I force myself to remember that reality. I remind myself of things like the night maybe that I was so sick and I wasted the entire next day basically wanting to die because I was so hungover, right? Or the time that I said so many cringy things and picked a fight with my husband or my brother or a friend and just like mortifying behavior that I never would have done if I hadn't been drinking. Or the weekends or entire vacations that are honestly just like a foggy, hazy blur because I was drinking so much and so often that I was either drunk or hungover like the majority of the time. So if you're going to miss alcohol and you're going to romanticize it, it's really only fair to honestly examine the other side of the coin and look at the reality of your drinking. Because we don't want to just remember the good parts. We need to look at the whole picture. And you guys, this can be really uncomfortable. Like, I get that. Even now, still, at 2.5 years sober, I think about like some of these summer moments that I was so drunk and then so hungover, and it still kind of makes my skin crawl because I'm like, God, like, how did I do that? How did I let it get that bad? But you guys, this is honestly why this mindset shift is so powerful and why we have so much to gain from it. Because when we force ourselves to be honest and recall these moments, that's where we can really take back our power and see everything we have to gain. So you guys, for me, one of these moments, and again, still, this is what I would say, like, it really, like, it's so cringy for me to just have to remember these. But there was a 4th of July. We were at my family cabin, and July in northern Wisconsin can be like so crazy hot and humid. And this was definitely one of those summers. It was like 95 degrees, super humid. So we're out in the sun all day long, playing in the lake, doing all the things. And of course, drinking because, right, 4th of July, woohoo, summer. I'm sure I was leading the charge because I always do, either with like mimosas with breakfast, then Bloody Marys, day drinking all day. And I was so drunk and definitely dehydrated that I needed to take a nap, quote unquote, take a nap, which really is just, passing out in the middle of the afternoon. So I left my husband to take care of our 3 girls with my entire family on this holiday while I took a nap for like an hour and a half because I was just drinking so much in the hot sun and basically had to lay down. So when I was tempted to feel like I was missing out that first sober summer, or tempted to think like, oh, it's not fair that I can't drink. The cabin's not going to be as fun. How am I going to celebrate holidays? I forced myself to think about this 4th of July. And no, not every time I drank went that badly. But like I said, at the end, a lot of them were close. And that's the reality of what my drinking had become. And I had to be honest about that, because it's not fair to only remember the good times and try to use those as an excuse of why we're not that bad or why it's okay to go back to drinking again, because that's not the reality of it. So whenever you are tempted to be swayed by these romantic ideas of drinking, focus instead on the reality of your drinking. Not to induce shame, like not to stay stuck in a place of shame or embarrassment, but just to remind yourself why you're choosing to be sober, why you are empowering yourself to make a better decision, and why it's okay to just leave those moments behind you and choose something new right now. So mindset shift number 4, you guys, and this is one of my favorites. Again, if you've been in my world for a while, if you followed me on Instagram for a while, those of you that are my clients, you're going to know I say this one a lot. And this is that hope is not a strategy, you guys, okay? Hope is not a strategy. One of the biggest mistakes that I made in past attempts to quit drinking, and one that I hear over and over and over again from my clients, is when we say things like, I hope I won't drink. When we go into social events, when we go into like the big first, whether it's just neighbor's house, whether it is a party, whether it's a holiday, whether it's anything, the beginning and end of our plan is just, oh, I hope I don't drink. You guys, if you want to make this season easier on yourself, you need to prepare. You can't just hope for the best, because this is the thing, you guys. If you haven't thought about it this way, you are the person that can always convince you to drink, right? Right? Like if you've had as many failed attempts as I had, trying to quit drinking all by myself, not doing anything other than saying, God, I hope I don't drink. It doesn't work, because I could always come up with a reason as to why I should drink. So this time I had to be prepared. I had to have a better plan. We can't just hope you don't drink at the cookout or on that camping trip. You have to actually have a plan and be prepared to stay sober. So here are some of the ways you can do that. The things that I did, things that I help other people do. First big one, you guys, is to never question the decision to stay sober. Drinking is simply not an option. You take it off the table. It is not open for debate. It is not something that you are going to do. Period. End of discussion. You guys, decision fatigue is a very, very real thing. Women, you know what I'm talking about. Moms, you know what I'm talking about. The endless litany of decisions that we have to make is exhausting. If you keep, oh, should I drink? Should I not drink? In that list of decisions, you get tired and you give in. So drinking is not an option. You never question your decision to stay sober. Boom, that's it. End of discussion, period. Moving on. Next, have a plan for what you are going to drink, because it does make it a lot easier for you to be comfortable and confident if you have something else in your hand, if you are not at the mercy of wherever you are and whoever you're with. So bring your own NA drinks. If they're a tool that helps you, and you guys, that is a very personal thing. It's a whole nother conversation we will absolutely have on another episode, but this can be anything. If you don't know if you want to try like NA beer or NA wine, then don't. Sparkling waters, soda, kombucha. There's so many options these days, you guys. You can find anything in a cute can, in a cute bottle, stick it in your cup, stick it in your koozie, whatever. Just have a plan for what you're going to drink. Next, know how you're going to answer the question of why aren't you drinking? Because somebody's going to ask. Sometimes people are just curious. Sometimes people are going to be like that annoying person that wants to really keep at you. If you have an answer that you feel good about, you're going to stay in control of the conversation. So you can keep it super simple with just like, oh, I'm just not drinking today. I'm sick of being hungover, so I'm taking a break. This is a time that you guys, if you feel better coming up with a lie, then just lie, right? It can be like, oh, I just started a new workout program, no alcohol. Oh, I'm training for a half marathon. Oh, I'm on antibiotics, like whatever. But honestly, you guys, a lot of times, 99% of the time, people usually actually aren't even going to care enough to ask. And if they do ask, they're going to forget what you say as soon as you say it. So you can just be something like, nope, I'm just not drinking today. There, that's it. It doesn't have to be a big, huge deal, okay? The last thing, a last really powerful idea, you guys, is to have an exit plan. Figure out how you can get yourself out of that situation if you need to, because this is the thing. And this is not, I don't say this at all with judgment, because I've been the drunkest person at the party a lot, more often than not. But you guys, the fact of the matter is when we make the decision to quit drinking, super drunk people can get really annoying really fast. And there's just like not really any nicer way to say that. And again, I'm not saying it I'm not judging at all. I'm just saying it's just a fact. So just always have an exit plan. This can be just a temporary plan. Like, do you need a breather? Can you go for a walk by yourself? Can you even hide in the bathroom? Can you do something to just get a break? Or it's bigger, like make sure that you drive yourself, so that if the party starts to get too rowdy, you can just, Irish exit, Irish goodbye, leave, don't over explain anything. Peace out. Do you have a plan to, get an Uber? Or if you're away for a weekend, someplace for the summer, hopefully like you have your own bedroom, you can go hide or something like that. Like having an exit plan so that you are in control of your experience as much as possible is a really, really powerful way that you can plan and prepare so that we're not relying on this false strategy of hope, right? That's the whole point I want you to see here, that hope is not a strategy, but you can do these things to actually feel prepared, to actually feel like you are in control, because you are. That's the whole point, you guys. You are in control. You are in charge of your thoughts. You are in charge of your decisions. It doesn't have to be at the mercy of what's going on around you. You get to decide. So when you plan and prepare like this, you feel empowered and you feel in control. And then you can make decisions that are going to honor this awesome thing you've done by deciding to stay sober, because you know that alcohol just doesn't serve you anymore. So this, what I'm talking about here, this planning, this preparing, this is really just kind of the tip of the iceberg, okay? This is something that I actually go a lot deeper into in my coaching group. So we map out the answers to these questions, and there's actually even more steps to this planning and preparing so that you do feel like really rock solid in your empowerment and your decision to not drink. So if that seems like something you'd benefit from, then head over to Instagram and shoot me a message, and I can tell you more about those programs, the actual checklist, the workbooks, the whole process that we go through to get you ready to tackle all of this stuff sober for the first time. Okay, so now the final mindset shift, you guys. I want you to focus on how you want to feel. Because at the end of the day, the real question isn't, should I drink? The real question is, how do I want to feel? Do I want to feel bloated and anxious and regretful and stuck in that like shame spiral and the guilt and the regret? Or do I want to feel clear and present and energized and proud of myself and like, yes, hell yes, I did that. And I actually had fun. And I feel good today. And I'm not going to waste an entire day feeling like crap. This choice is yours, you guys. We get to make this decision. And you can choose to feel good the next day and let that guide the decisions that you make at these events all summer long, okay? Because I promise you guys, your first sober spring and summer can actually be really, really amazing if you let it be. So this season can feel fantastic for you. You are like really likely to find that you maybe like it even more. The sense of pride, the sense of accomplishment, but also the confidence, the like quiet capability and confidence we can build when we just show up as ourselves, fully present, fully aware for all of the people and the events around us, and we're there to make real memories. You guys, it's fantastic. And it's available to any of us. You can do it just like I did it, and you deserve to do it. Like we all deserve to know how good life can feel. So if you do want support and you do want a plan and you want more guidance to make this all easier, then definitely reach out to me, because I would love to invite you into my coaching programs with all of the other women where this is what we're doing every day. This is where we're taking people like me. I mean, you guys, women like me, women who were, at one point drinking vodka at 8 o'clock in the morning and passing out in the middle of 4th of July with her entire family around, now wildly so excited for another sober spring and summer because it is so much better than when I used to drink. Like, so much better. And I see this happen to women every single day when they come into my world. And that absolutely can be you too. So don't be afraid to send me a message and we can start talking about what it would look like for you. But I want you guys to know this. No matter what, staying sober this spring and this summer, you guys, you are not missing out. You are not less than. Your summer is not going to be less than. You are stepping into what could be like one of the most like eye-opening and empowering seasons of your life. I really actually get so excited watching people experience this for the first time, seeing your world really with brand new eyes and experiencing how good it can feel and how fulfilling it can all be. So I'd love to hear about it. I'd love for you to come find me on Instagram. Send me a message as you start to tackle some of these sober spring and summer firsts. Let me know how they went for you. Let me know how this episode resonated with you. And I'd be so honored if you shared it, sent it to somebody else that needs this encouragement. And like I said, don't ever hesitate to reach out. If you want some extra help, I'm your girl. Thanks for tuning in today, you guys. That's it for today's episode. If this conversation resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. And if you're loving the show, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave a quick review. It helps others find this message and start their own journey to freedom. Until next time, keep choosing yourself, keep believing in what's possible, and remember, you are so much stronger than you think.